So in 1981, my parents took over Marshall Community Church, and my parents pastored that church for 34 years. I moved away for Bible school, came back with my wife in 2007 to help, and we served under them for 7-8 years, and they decided to step aside, retire, and pass the torch to us, which was something we prayed about. God was in that, and we met in my parents' living room for a couple of months because we had, in that transition, as my parents were retiring and passing the torch, so to speak, we sold the property, we sold the church, we sold all of it down in the little town of Marshall, and with the intention of having church where the people are, up by the interstate, where the development was happening, the houses were being built, all of those things. It just felt like the Lord was calling us to that area.
Our first meetings in Snowden Elementary were super exciting. We were so excited to be there. Everybody had a lot of vision about where we were going and what we were doing. We got to love on the community. We were set up tear down for 2 years.
2.5 years.
2.5 years. And we just got to a point where we had to go. We had to find more space. We had to find a more permanent home for us.
The first few meetings in the new space on Arrow Road there in the Fairways Plaza was eye-opening for us. We tried to just rent one unit to start, and within the first meeting we were like, this isn't gonna work, not for what God has for us. So we contacted the landlord again and said we need to. And so we made the arrangements, we got to, and
it was a big step of faith.
It was.
To rent two spaces.
It was outside of our budget for sure, but it was totally God.
It was.
And within a year we were not going into the savings to make the payment. We were back in the black. We were making the payments, and God was doing it. He was bringing people. It was a great space for us, good visibility, and God was moving. He was doing what He does. The second remodel we did, we expanded the sanctuary and helped with classrooms, brought in a second RV for the kids. Was exciting too because we needed more space. We were having 2 services, but we were still full, and God gave us the idea to make this extra space. But we knew we weren't ever gonna stay where we are at because we can't grow beyond it. We got bookended in this building we were in after we moved in, where we can't expand. And so we've been doing the best we can with what we have. God has given us some really good ideas, and our church is in this campaign of believing God for the next phase, the next building. We call it Believe and Build. And so our church folks, as an assignment from the Lord, have really gone out and sown in other areas, in different places, different ministries for their building projects or just what they're doing in the kingdom, believing that God would reward that seed, that sown seed in the ground with a harvest to come back in for our building project. And so in that vein, what we have been believing God for in having our own space, our own building, that's us, that's not a lease, God has directed us and led us and brought us to a place where we found a piece of property. And not only did we find it, but we found it at the direction of the Lord. Great property owner, and we negotiated on price, and we found it. We bought it. It's purchased. We bought a piece of property. The property itself is a great location. It's, as the crow flies, 1.25 miles from where we're at now, just down I-90, close to the Four Lakes exit. You'll be able to see it from both directions. It's 6 acres, relatively flat, really good access from Melville Road, really good visibility from I-90. When my parents were pastoring in the 80s, there was a prophecy over them, over their family, the church, that the church would be near the freeway and that it would be full, that people would be coming to hear the gospel, coming to see God move in an amazing way. And at the time they thought, man, this is it. And they started looking for property anywhere near the freeway. And God it wasn't time. It was one of those future ones. And so it was really fun to see this kind of fall in place the way it did, because it does fulfill a prophecy that's 35 years old.
People need what we have. And when there's not space for them, there's not a place for them. And so now having space, it's like, come on in. Let us introduce you to the Holy Spirit. Let us introduce you to the Lord. Let us walk alongside while you grow in Him.
Yeah.
While it changes your family and your circumstances.
This property is very exciting for us. You know, it's the first step, but it's not the end. We're still believing God. This is the beginning of really stretching. We have a building to build, and use this occasion, this excitement, as we're, celebrating this property. Use it as an occasion to really press into God and cast the same vision we're casting to you into the people around you. That God is doing things in the West Plains, God is doing things in our community, and use it as an opportunity to share with others. Tell them what we're doing. Tell them we bought property. Tell them we're going to build a building. Get people excited about what God is doing. And I really believe this, that in this season, and this has happened every time we've transitioned, every time we've made adjustments, every time we've gone to the next step, God has brought people in to church, into the ministry, sometimes totally unchurched people coming in because they're excited about what God is doing through the church in the community. So use this occasion to let people know, hey, our church is growing, we bought a piece of property, we're building. This is an exciting time. This is something we don't want to let slip through our fingers. Let the community know, hey, this is what we're doing. And it's a great opportunity for you to invite people to church. Let them see what God is doing. And as we continue to build that excitement and growth in the church, I believe God's going to bring all the right pieces together as we move forward and are able to build and grow. So stay connected with us. It's going to be a fun next couple of years.